armies that come in with
We could have done
an
the
army,
audio.
a whole cadre of people that go up in the press box, and their radio, and their, when my kids played at Nazareth, they had a part-time trainer.
Okay.
It was a student trainer. Now they've got docs on the side.
Did they play for Len Grammarosa or?
Good. How are you?
No, for, no, I don't think Grammarosa was ever the football coach.
Really?
Yeah, it is phenomenal.
It was Larry White.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Just came from
Yeah. No.
She said, don't wear your contacts till Saturday.
I thought he was, but I just remember because he was my gym coach at St. John.
Anyway,
At St. John.
Yeah,
Right.
and he did something. What was it?
He was just on the sideline.
Was he? Okay.
A bad coach, but, it's the days of,
Nice.
That's great.
And are they friends when they come? Like, do they know
Most
each
of the
other?
time,
Casey Moran is now
Yeah,
the play caller on the side.
because it was Dennis.
Dennis Moran, Damon.
Yeah,
Texting and
because my buddy Pat Burns played for
kind
him.
of creepy.
Is it just your own kids and your wife?
Well, then some of it's like
Like
Cheryl.
her mother?
Yeah, her mother came, and then Cheryl has.
It was flabbergasted.
So they
Flabbergasted.
we have like
So you have enough to
yeah, they
absorb them. Yeah, it's not like all of a sudden, you know, like, yeah.
That's what I think about the place.
Although it's called.
And they're out of,
Look how long
Yeah,
it took
and you
me
have
to
to drive
open. It was
out.
so sophisticated in that
There's
place.
a lot of these things.
Right. Everything was tiled out.
you would think
My
that
perception was it was the wife's dream. The husband bankrolled it. She went,
No.
things
See, it's really a
sort of any corner.
That's bad, we have that.
Yeah, that's a lot
This
of
is
Thanksgiving,
probably
yeah,
bad.
so adopt the sailor.
Traffic.
Pat, you
was
ready?
open, right?
Pat, you ready? Thank you. All right, call to order the November regular meeting of your Board of Trustees. To honor our nation's heroes and especially to honor the men and women in uniform who serve and protect our community, please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk Fitzgerald, may we have the roll call, please?
Certainly, President Gallagher. Trustee Hansen.
Here.
Trustee Timmick.
Here.
Trustee Allen.
Here.
Trustee Rudolph.
Here.
Trustee Sifferman.
Here.
Trustee Tyrrell.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Does any trustee have an addition or deletion to tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to that portion of the meeting when we open it up to the public to approach the board and discuss anything that's on your mind. Is there anyone in the audience today that would like to talk to the board? Hearing none, we will move on to a new business. We do have a new business item tonight. The board has met in closed session during the meetings in November to discuss performance evaluation and a raise for our village manager, Ingrid Veltme. So tonight we have a first addendum to her employment agreement by and between the Village of Western Springs and Ingrid S. Veltme. Does any trustee wish to discuss this further? We have discussed it quite extensively in closed session. Any further discussion tonight?
None.
If not, we'll put that on the omnibus along with our other items for voting tonight. Moving on to the omnibus vote, the Illinois state statute allows a municipality to collectively vote on a group of ordinances, resolutions, and other motions, such as awards of contract, appointments, etc. This is known as an omnibus vote. All the items contained on the omnibus vote list have been previously discussed by the Board of Trustees and President on at least one occasion and often on several occasions. By placing them on the omnibus vote list, a single vote may be taken to approve them. A trustee may remove any item from the list and have it discussed and voted on separately prior to the omnibus vote. Is there any such request?
Yes, President Gallagher. Could we move Agenda 3 on the parking study?
Agenda item number 3 regarding the Western Springs parking study will be taken off of the omnibus vote and voted on separately.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other item? All right, hearing none, I'll pass it on to Trustee Timick.
Thank you, President Gallagher. I move that the following ordinances, resolutions, and motions as contained on the meeting agenda for November 26, 2018 be adopted and/or approved under an omnibus vote. Agenda item number 2, approval of the minutes of the meetings of October 8th and October 22nd and November 12th, 2018 as read. Agenda item number 4, Resolution 18-2463, authorizing and approving the execution of a professional services agreement between the Village of Western Springs and James J. Bennis and Associates Incorporated for design and construction engineering services, 2019 IEPA water main replacement project. Agenda item number 5, Resolution 18-2464, determining the estimated real property tax levy for year 2018 for the Village of Western Springs. Agenda item number 6, Resolution 18-2465, approving a budget amendment and transfers over $10,000 to the fiscal year 2018 operating budget in the general fund and water fund. Agenda item number 7, Resolution 18-2466, approving a budget amendment and transfer over $10,000 to the fiscal year 2018 operating budget in the water fund. Agenda item number 8, Resolution 18-2467, approving and authorizing the execution of an emergency mutual aid agreement for the sharing of police personnel, equipment, and resources to respond to disasters and civil disorders and to combat serious criminal activities that constitute a community threat. Agenda item number 9, Resolution 18-2468, authorizing and approving the execution of a temporary construction access easement agreement for Well Number 5 project, Village of Western Springs and Western Springs Park District, and a temporary construction access easement agreement for Well Number 5 project, Village of Western Springs and Western Springs Public Schools District 101, and Village of Western Springs, disclosure and commitment to pay compensation regarding acquisition of temporary construction access easements for Well Number 5 project. Agenda item number 10, Resolution 18-2469, authorizing the approval and execution of the first addendum to employment agreement by and between the Village of Western Springs and Ingrid S. Velkme.
Is there a second to the motion?
I will second.
Any discussion? Clerk Fitzgerald, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Certainly, President Gallagher. Trustee Hansen.
Aye.
Trustee Timick.
Aye.
Trustee Allen.
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph.
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman.
Aye.
Trustee Tyrrell.
Aye.
And President Gallagher.
Aye.
All in favor.
Thank you. Congratulations, Manager Velkme. We appreciate your hard work over the past year and look forward to building on an excellent start to our relationship with you going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Gallagher and Board of Trustees. I am so very thankful that you have confidence in me in leading this community, but I couldn't do it without the village staff, and that was clearly something that we saw today, that everyone worked together to make sure that everyone could function correctly, everyone could drive down the street, everyone could get to their train and so forth. So thank you so very much, and thank you so very much to the staff.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Any other business this evening? We'll move on to the monthly reports, the monthly financial.
Do we need to circle back?
Yes.
Pardon?
Three that got pulled.
Oh, thank you. Moving back, is there a motion for agenda item number 3? Thank you.
Well, you mean to,
Sheila could.
go ahead.
Oh, I will read it? Okay. Agenda item number 3, Resolution 18-2462, approving and adopting the Western Springs Parking Study Existing Conditions Report dated November 2018 and prepared by Sam Schwartz Consulting, LLC, and the Village of Western Springs, Conceptual Wayfinding and Signage Plan dated June 2018 and prepared by Tesca Associates, Inc.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, so we had a good presentation from Director Scott and the consultants on the report. I think it's fine. But the resolution says we are asking the village manager to develop a budget and implementation plan. And I just wasn't sure we had talked about that yet, what our expectations are for it. And with the budget for the 2019 calendar year trying to be finalized in the next few weeks, I thought we ought to discuss and agree what, if anything, we're going to do with this plan and when we sort of think we're going to have an implementation plan and what sort of budget we think we're looking for it.
Well, I see, normally that kind of comes out as we talk about it. This is just giving, I believe, the authority to staff to proceed with that. This is part of the larger downtown redevelopment plan. And so that was my understanding of it, is that gets sussed out at the committee level as we go forward. I don't know, Manager Velkme, if you have anything further.
I agree with that. I think Director Scott, we are looking at all of the options right now, and maybe the budget would be developed in the future, correct?
Yeah, I can expand on that a little bit too. That's a great question, Trustee. There's a number of things on there that the staff level that would take some serious work and time, such as the cooperation of property owners who control private parking lots to work with the village to convert some of those to employee and or customer parking during the day. That's something that doesn't have really a hard cost associated with it, probably even in 2019, because those agreements would take a while to work on. But then the other refinements that they recommend in here to like employee parking can be done at the staff level, signage change can be done at the staff level without significant cost. And then some of the items, whether they're parking or wayfinding, will get, I guess, kind of developed, the best word I can think of right now, through our streetscape implementation plan, which is one of the strategic plan goals that we have to have a framework for budgetary, cost, scheduling. I think it's due in November of 19 that we've just started to scratch the surface on. So some in the short, again, some we can handle in-house for not much money at all, and some are going to be longer term that we'll know more answers probably, summer of 19.
So thank you, Marty. If I heard correctly, not much dollars in 2019?
I don't believe so. I mean, if I saw something out of here that realistically would have been put into the 19 budget, I would have been talking to Manager Velkme and Director Turi about it, and I didn't see anything significant.
Okay, and the other thing I think I heard is there are at least a few short-term solutions that can be implemented relatively quickly. I guess my point is we've talked about this for a long time. This goes back to Pat Higgins talking about this report. And so, I just want to make sure, I guess my expectation would be that we would have some things that we could do relatively quickly as opposed, that maybe some of the other ones that may cost more dollars or be more complicated might take longer. So I understand the idea to push the high-cost ones not outside of the 2019 budget, but I guess I'd be looking for what we can do, some quick hits to improve the situation for the residents relatively soon. And that's, I didn't know if the rest of the board was aligned with that or not.
So I would agree too. So just even to make sure I understand too, to clarify the resolution is accepting the study.
Correct.
Yes.
And then directing staff to proceed in assessing or analyzing the recommendations for future implementation. But I would agree with Trustee Allen, if there is something that we as a board could understand in the next couple of months or so, that would be something short-term that would address those quick hits, I think that would be much appreciated, especially given kind of the duration of the study. From what I understand, I think that would be helpful for the residents to see some action being taken. But again, going back to what the resolution is, it's accepting the study itself and it's becoming an official document, for lack of better wording.
That's it. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, in the past, the board has talked about not just doing a study for doing a study's sake and having the study sit on a shelf. That extra direction to staff is to take these two studies and have staff take it to the next level, which is think about ways to implement, think about the time frame for implementation, and then put a budget to those things, whether it's a short-term budget, long-term budget, short-term implementation, long-term implementation, just so these studies just don't go on the shelf.
Yeah.
We will review what we can do immediately within the next few months or so, and we'll put a report together on that, and then the long-term ones we'll have to be working on. And as we said, that's also in our strategic plan. So this is all part of that process.
No further comments.
Okay, thank you. May we have the roll call vote, Clerk Fitzgerald?
Certainly, President Gallagher. Trustee Hansen?
Aye.
Trustee Timick?
Aye.
Trustee Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph?
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman?
Aye.
Trustee Tyrrell?
Aye.
All in favor.
Thank you. Now moving on to the monthly financial report, Trustee Rudolph.
Thank you, President Gallagher. Yes, we were provided a copy of the October monthly reports and a few items to bring to your attention. First, the police pension fund has posted negative results for the month ending October for a loss of 5.61% and now has a one-year return of 1.22%. The Police Pension Board meets again in January, and we'll be reviewing that, of course. The general fund revenues continue to be higher than projected. The sales tax receipts in October were 2.88% higher than last year and continue to be 8% greater than 2017. The timber trails permits combined with other construction activities have resulted in 99% revenue collection as of October month end. The income tax receipts have also exceeded projections, so all good news there, and expenditures are on target. In terms of water, the consumption billed in October, which I believe is about a 2-month lag, would that be right, Director?
1 month lag.
1 month lag, excuse me, was about 7.4% lower than last year, and it is projected to continue at about that same volume through year end. Director Turry, were there any other notes that you wanted to provide the board?
Yes, 2 things. The draft 2019 budget will be in your OneDrive tomorrow afternoon, and then we will also have paper copies available for those who wish to have paper. And secondly, we are going to have Lauterbach and Amon present a 7-year projection for the police pension in January as part of the strategic plan for the long-term funding for the police pension. So we hope to have that scheduled for the January workshop.
Great, thank you very much. With that, I will make a motion to accept the October monthly reports as presented.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Sure.
So we're not going to have the police pension for this budget cycle?
We have their determination, the $1.3 million that they did through the study. We have that available. But we are going to, aside from all that, the Finance Committee at the last meeting heard Jessica's presentation for the 7-year strategic plan that we were looking at, and she's going to come and present that whole report to the board in its entirety.
Well, so I guess where I was going, we won't have the sensitivity done, or in other words, after the performance this last month, we're way behind our projection for the year. And so, I was hoping we would see what that might impact for the funding if we end up short for 2018.
That won't be ready till January because they're behind. So if there's a change in funding, because the funding level for the police pension is based on the 2017 year end. So the $1.3 million is based on that. Whatever happens for 2018, which is going to be not so good, will be worked into the calculation in January. So we'll know what the year-end returns are, and they'll use those to base the 2019 levy. And then she can update the sensitivity on the 7-year at that point in time, because she'll have a full year of 2018 in there.
So we don't have a sensitivity yet?
Well, we had one based on 2017. We don't have one for 2018 yet.
Okay. Can I get a copy? Is this separately?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the second comment, this note about the volume is 7% lower, and we expect that to be continue through the end of the year. Why is that?
Because we saw the last bill run, which is November's bill run, which you don't get in this report, and it's low again.
So, because I always thought of the non-summer months as not really weather-driven.
Right, but...
So are we seeing a consistent now lower volume?
I think last year was an anomaly, so we're basing our comparisons on a year that with the consumption that was a little bit outside our normal consumption pattern. I think we're going back to 2016 patterns as opposed to 17. So we see the November bill run was closer to 2016 level than it was to 2017.
So 2017 was normally high?
Yes.
Throughout the year?
Yes.
And other than the summer
right.
peak and valley months due to weather?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We do need a second on that motion.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, Clerk Fitzgerald, may we have a roll call vote?
Certainly, President Gallagher. Trustee Hansen?
Aye.
Trustee Timick?
Aye.
Trustee Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman?
Aye.
Trustee Tyrrell?
Aye.
And then President Gallagher? No?
Not this time.
Okay.
Thanks, though. Okay. Thank you for your report, Trustee Rudolph.
Thank you.
Moving on to my report, I did want to thank our Public Works Department and all of our employees for coming out in the middle of the night to make sure that our streets were cleared. In my conversations today, people were grumbling about how bad their streets were, and our streets were cleared because they came out at 3:30 last night to make sure those streets were cleared. So I wanted to thank them for their efforts and let them know that the board appreciates it. Also, I want to thank our village staff who came in parkas and never took them off today because we had no power here until well after 3 o'clock. But the village hall remained maybe not open, but people were here working, and we commend you for your dedication and staying on the job when it was less than ideal circumstances. So thank you very much. I also want to thank Bill Tomzik, who came in as soon as the power outage was noted, so to make sure that a few computers stayed online and nothing too disastrous happened. Moving on, I'd like to let you all know that the Park Board has approved the construction easement necessary for the building of well number 5. District 101 will vote this Thursday at their meeting regarding the construction easement. On Tuesday, November 13th, Trustee Hanson, Village Manager Velkme, Director of Finance Turi, Director of Community Development Marty Scott, and our Assistant Chief Mike Kelly and Fire Marshal Stephanie Grimm all attended the Western Springs Business Association annual meeting and luncheon where they swore in their new executive staff. Now their president is Craig Maudsley. He's taking the place of Mike O'Brien, and their vice president is Lauren Goodwin. Craig Maudsley is the owner of Clarity Physical Therapy, and Lauren Goodwin is from the Colonial Barbershop. Those terms are 2-year terms, and by their bylaws, the vice president will then become the president after that. I'd like to thank Mike O'Brien for his service on behalf of the board with regard to the Business Association. On November 14th, Village Manager Velkme and I met with BNSF representatives, Tollway representatives, and engineers regarding the pedestrian underpass and then plans for the 4th maintenance rail. Those discussions are still ongoing, but it was a productive meeting, and we look forward to further negotiations with them. On Friday, November 16th, Village Manager Velkme and I met with Steve Palmer. He's a Metro Board member, and he is from Palmer's Place in LaGrange, and also with 2 other Metro reps, where we were encouraged by Metro's willingness to be a financial partner in the construction of the West Pedestrian Underpass. So thank you to Metro. I know that everybody's budgets are slim, and we appreciate their supporting their communities in our endeavors to make the railway a safer crossing. Then on Tuesday, November 20th, Village Manager Velkme and I met with Tammy Riersick from Metro Strategies regarding the Central Avenue project, West Pedestrian Underpass, Bemis Woods Bike Path, and other projects that are available for federal funding. She's helping us coordinate that federal funding going forward. And then I wanted to mention that this Saturday is the Business Association's Winter Wonderland. It's early this year, but it'll be held from 2 to 6 p.m. on the Tower Green. And in December also, our meetings are shifting up 1 week for the holidays, so we will be meeting next week, December 3rd, and then 2 weeks from that on December 17th. And that's all I had. Village Manager Velkme.
Thank you, President Gallagher. I wanted to report that it was on November 19th that village staff and Attorney Jerusik and I met with our Public Services account team, and that is the General Manager Jocelyn Cruz and the Manager Rich Vandermolen. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss exercising the option in our existing contract with Republic Services to extend refuse and recycling services beyond December 31st. And the current contract expires on that date. Staff requested a 9-month extension through September of 2019 with an option to convert to month if needed. Village staff plans to go out to bid in January 2019 with the goal of awarding a contract in March of 2019. The contract extension would provide additional time to review bids, award a contract, and communicate the changes to residents to ensure a smooth transition to the system. And they are amenable to that, and they will be providing us with a proposal by November 29th. So we look forward to that meeting.
So just, I'm sorry, they were okay with the month-to-month language as well?
Starting a 9-month.
After the 9th month?
That, yes, they
Okay.
did not want to do it for 6 months or
Okay.
so. And we understand that they have planning also that they have to do with their services.
Sure.
Sure. But that's better, because initially, I think they wanted us to go straight to a year, another
Correct,
year,
yes.
and so this is
That
better
was
than
definitely the
that.
initial feedback. That's why I was glad to hear that, yeah.
Right.
definitely.
Yes.
Have we agreed what type of service we want?
The committee was looking at, we had the reports, several of them.
So the
weeks ago.
extension will keep things status quo with Republic, but then we have continued the conversation based on staff feedback, resident feedback, and other things. So we've not settled on anything in terms of what we might want to do container-wise for both
Right.
ways. So that's still open for conversation.
But we expect, did you say we're going out to bid in first quarter?
January, yes.
So we're going to have that done in the next month and a half?
Ideally, yes.
Well, I mean, can we go out to bid without knowing what?
No, not really.
service
Well, I mean,
level?
I think what we can do is we can provide a list of potential items and ask
Okay.
that be included, and then we can sort of build around that, yeah.
But we are looking at a system other than the blue bag system, because the blue bags are not biodegradable. They cause problems with litter on the streets and so forth, and they clog the drains in Ridgewood that one time, so forth. So we are trying to stay away from that. And most haulers are coming in with contracts with the cart system. So, and a lot of our residents are already putting carts out. They have them from their previous residences and so forth, and that preference was also made quite apparent in the recycling survey that we had just recently.
We
So-
are the only community also still using blue bags, apparently.
Correct, yes.
And were they able to pick up today with the weather?
No.
We don't have pickup on Mondays, we have it on Tuesdays, but we did have a notice from them that there will be a delay, a day, because of the snowstorm that we
Yeah,
had.
LaGrange had all their stuff out, none of it was picked up, so.
Yes.
So everyone will get 1 day delayed?
Correct, and we
Okay.
put that out on the website this
Okay,
afternoon.
great, thank you.
Is that including, but the Saturday pickup will be back on schedule, do you think, or will that also?
Tomorrow's pickup will be delayed 1 day to
One day.
Wednesday. As far as we know, Friday. which
Oh,
is
Friday.
south of
Still should be.
55th Street will
Right.
still be as regularly scheduled on Friday. We have not heard
Blue area.
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
Just another item also on the tollway. There was a regional meeting also on November 14th on that afternoon on the noise study. We really didn't receive much information, but they did say that they were going to be coming out with that information within the week. I'm still waiting for it, so we'll see what happens with the noise study. So we should be receiving it fairly soon.
Okay.
I will keep you posted on that. And that is it for tonight.
Thank you. Village Attorney DeRusso.
No further report tonight.
Wonderful. In that case,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.